What's up, everybody? Do a little mess around tonight. Doing a little rod building. I figured I'd go live while I was doing it. I mean, why not, right? I'm just kidding, y'all. I don't go live on YouTube a lot. I usually go live on Facebook. Usually more of a Facebook live kind of person. That's usually what I do. Quite often, though, I go twice a week on Facebook, but I figured I'd go on live. Doing some rod building parts here on YouTube. Got a little coat of epoxy I need to put on this nice little rod. It's called a dock rocker. It's nothing but a little like 4-foot rod, something you can take on the dock, something you can take and get out on the water with, something you can easily, you know what I'm saying, pop in the truck and get out and hit the dock with it. I hope this is coming in good. We'll have to see how this thing works out. But I got me a 2-part epoxy. That's what I coat my rods with, Flex Coat. It's a nice little 2-part epoxy. 2 equal parts. Makes it for about 5 minutes. If you go less than 5 minutes, it'll get you. It'll get you. But like I was saying before, I do a lot of lives. I do rod builds like this. This rod right here actually was donated on one of my lives on Facebook. But I want to grow this YouTube channel. I need to get this YouTube channel growing. Instead of just sticking to Facebook, I need to utilize my YouTube as well. We're going to go 1.5 milliliters. We don't need a whole lot for this. I like to be real easy with this when I do it. The less bubbles you get in this stuff, the easier it is to work with. You got to work them bubbles out of it. You just got to do 2 equal parts on this. Just 2 equal parts is all you need on this. Get it right, though, because if you don't, it won't harden. That's the hard part right there. I got a marble job going on up there. I might show that to y'all here in a little bit. A little marble job up there that I've custom rod I'm building as well. I got 4 of them on the rack right now. I got 4 nice rods on the rack. A little bit of these bubbles come out of this. We're just going to do 1,500 piece. That should be plenty for what we're going to do. It should be plenty. Get my pad over here. I got to set a timer for this stuff. Make sure I get it about right. We're going to stir this stuff, and it's going to be real boring for about 5 minutes. While we stir this. You just got to stir it and make sure you get it good and stirred together. If you don't, it won't work right. It's just like any other 2-part epoxy. You got to mix it real well together. Except for this ain't like the stuff you put on your floor. This ain't just like the stuff you use for crafts and construction and things of that nature. This stuff has a little more flexibility to it. It's that's why it's, Flex Coat. It has a little more flexibility to it. So when you put it on your guides here, it'll actually have a little bit of flexibility. It'll bend with the rod instead of breaking. You don't want it breaking on you. You don't want it breaking on you. But you don't want to skip out. I've done this before, and I've only done it for about 3.5, 4 minutes. I mean, and it would just don't. You got to stir it for 5 minutes. If you don't, you'll regret it. You'll regret it. Man. Boring. Hope everybody had some great holidays. Hope everybody's having a good New Year's. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I'm going on my 2nd day off. I got a 4-day weekend this week, so I'm going to have tomorrow off and Sunday as well. Get plenty of rod building done. It's gotten kind of cold for fishing, y'all. If you check out my other platform, I do quite a bit of fishing, but it's been slowing down lately. This colder weather. I'm an old man. This colder weather gets me slowed down. we're gonna keep stirring this right here real good. You got to stir this real good. Keep stirring it the whole time for 5 minutes. If you go I'm telling you, if you slack it 30 seconds, it won't act right on you. I don't know what it is. You know, I don't stir it too fast because if you do, you'll end up with a bunch of bubbles in it. I don't like having a bunch of bubbles in it. Don't like having a bunch of bubbles in my epoxy. Once we get this done, I'm going to hit the RPMs over here. It's going to get a little bit noisy. We'll start making a little bit of noise. It's kind of annoying, believe me, when you're doing it for a real long time. But you got to have this spinning while you're putting the epoxy on. If you don't, it'll drip right off of it. You'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see what I'm talking about when we put this coat on. I just want to get on YouTube here a little bit more. Build the platform some, get some more, start doing some lives on here. Build my following. I don't even know how many I have on here. I think I have 100 and something people that follow me. I got almost 7,000 on Facebook. But I just don't get on YouTube a lot, y'all. You know what I mean? There's not a whole lot of YouTube I do. I post to it every now and then, but I'm planning on doing some more lives on it. Saturday nights and Wednesday nights I do lives on Facebook. And that keeps me pretty tied up through the week already, you know what I mean? So, but I wouldn't mind doing like Friday nights. I also have subscribers on there. I do a whole nother live for subscribers. I'm wide open on the lives now, y'all. I'm a live going fool. I just don't do it on YouTube. Not often. I do a lot. This is a lot more. This is a little bit different of a live setup than on there than it is here, though. It's a little more wild and energetic. On YouTube, I want to do it more of the rod builds. Going live doing rod builds and doing some wraps and stuff and everything. It's a little less entertaining sometimes, but it's pretty interesting to see what to do and how to do it. And if you got a rod build that I'm doing for you, you can kind of keep up on it with here. That's what I want to kind of shoot for. If you got a rod build going, instead of having to check it all the time and me send you pictures all the time, you can check my YouTube lives once a week or something like that. I might go live and see updates on rods if you got one being built. Live updates on all the other rods because I got a custom rod up there called the Patriot right now that we're building and doing during lives. Not building it during the lives, but having a fun time with it. This process right here ain't no joke. Y'all can see I'm going to stir this thing the whole time. I'm not playing with it. This epoxy, if you don't do it right, it won't work. It'll act almost... People still out here shooting fireworks. All right, this thing right here, I'm going to turn that alarm off. It had about 5 seconds left. I don't feel like hearing it looping in my ear. Pretty sure y'all don't either. But that should do it. As long as you get 5 minutes on it, you should be good. A good 5 minutes of stirring. You just don't want to short it. Because if you do, you will regret it. My dog's in here. Got my 14-year-old chocolate lab is in here with us right now, joining us. Ain't that right, Bristol? She probably wants some food or something. Hey, feed that dog. You need to feed that dog. It doesn't matter what kind of brush you use when y'all do this. When you're putting epoxy on here like this, it doesn't matter what kind of brush you use. I use these little bitty $1 for about 20 of them at the Dollar General. That's what I use to put it on. Some people use other stuff. Some people use plastic. Some people use metal. I just use a good old brush on it. There's nothing to it. You know what I mean? Let's fire this thing up. It's going to be kind of loud. I'll probably go back and watch this and be like, man, that thing is extremely loud. But that's the sound of it while it's twisting. All this stuff, I give it a little time. I got my heat lamp over there. I can put a little burst to it. This will help it. I got my heat lamp. Well, not my heat lamp. I said heat lamp. My heat. My heat gun. Heat guns do miracles for these. Putting a little heat on it always helps it. I've already put on here what's called a color preserver. I did that earlier today. It's a color preserver and it keeps it from see if I can get a little light on here better for y'all. It's like a color preserver. It keeps the, for one thing, it keeps the epoxy from penetrating the thread. And it also keeps the color. Because sometimes when you mix this epoxy in on the threads, you don't get a good, it'll fade the color. It'll seep into it and stain it. Give it an uneven color a lot of times. And you don't want that. You want that red to stay nice and blue like that. You want it to be uniformed all the way across. You got to make sure you put that color preserver on it. You can get thread that's already treated, thread that's already color preserve on it, but I just put it on. I just get regular thread and then put my own on. I'm just putting a thin coat on right now, y'all. These first coats, the first coats never look pretty, and they're thin. Put a nice thin coat on it. I don't want to gap it up on there and put a lot of uneven. I don't want it to be uneven then. I just want a nice little stream across it. Any spots that I missed that I don't quite get to, it's not a big deal. This is going to take about 2 or 3 coats to get this thing right. So we're not worried about that at all. We'll make sure we get every bit of it. We don't want it uneven. I'd rather miss a little spot or two than put too much on it. Because too much on it, it's hard to fix it. Once you get it gapped, once you get it uneven and you get a bunch of little mountains and crevices and dimples in it, it gets hard to work out after that. So I always just put a nice thin coat on. Then if you got any impurities or anything like that, or anything that you need to fix on it or take care of later, you have plenty of coats to put over it once you have to fix it and take care of your impurities. You have plenty of time, you have plenty of room to build up more epoxy on top of something if you need to fix it. Get that steady hand, get that steady hand. Get that steady hand on it. Oh, yeah. Nice thin little coat like that. I hope y'all can see that pretty good. You know what I mean? Just a nice thin little coat is what you want to put on it. Just a nice thin little. Oh, nice thinness. I don't want to go too thick with it. Going too thick with it is the worst thing. It's hard. You can't take epoxy off. You can sand it down, but you're getting into a mess. If you go to sanding epoxy like that, you're about to get into a mess. You're seriously gonna. You're talking about coat after coat after coat. I've had to get into sanding epoxy a couple of times. No, I'd rather not. If I can help it, I'd much rather not deal with trying to take epoxy off. You can always build it up. Fairly easy. But putting thick coats is just not, it's not the way to do it. It's just like anything else when you're doing a paint job or anything else. A couple of nice, thin, clean coats always is better than just gapping on one solid coat, hard coat. Big, thick coat. This rod right here is actually a rod that I ordered online, and I had it delivered to me. I ordered from Mudhole most of my rod blanks, and I ordered it online from Mudhole, and they sent it to me, and it was broke in half almost. So I called them up, put in an insurance claim. Mudhole's good people over there. They sent me new rod blank right on out, but I had this one left, so I had nothing to do with it. So I took the end that was good, that still had the nice tip on it, and I made it a 4-foot rod. You know what I mean? Then turned it into a 4-foot rod, so I could still utilize it. And it's like a dock rocker, a dock demon. Some people call them dock demons. Give me just a minute. Some people call them dock demons. I gotta adjust this so y'all can still see what I'm doing. Oh goodness. Go lay down. Alright, we're gonna move this back a little bit right now. Get our shelf into a better view. I fell off before I wanted it to. You can stop for a minute on these while you're trying to adjust it and do things of that nature, but you don't want to stop it very often. You don't want to stop it very often while you're working. If you stop it for more than 20 seconds or so, or something like that, you're going to end up dripping. That's why I got it on this rotator. That's why we'll keep it on the rotator. It usually stays on the rotator like this for about, if you go about 5 hours, if you got it pretty warm in the room, about 5 hours is good. You can stop rotating it, but the best way to do it is just to keep your eye on it. You kind of know how it is when you can stop rotating it. It takes a full 10-12 hours for it to set up completely. Not set up completely, but it's 24 hours for a full cure on this stuff. You don't want to go fishing it and things like that before 24 hours after you're done with the last coat. Then you're kind of jeopardizing it. Like I said, we're going to go thin coats on this, y'all. I don't want to go big, heavy coats at first. I just like to go thin, nice thin coats. You put that steady hand on it. You got to get that steady hand on it. We're going to push a little bit of this right here, heat gun down here, just to make sure I'm getting a good cure on this. Make sure ain't no bubbles coming out on us. Let me put us a little. Get a little bitty air bubbles trapped in there. That's the best way to get it out of the heat gun. The heat gun is your best friend in rod building. It's a nice thin coat on these guides. It'll probably take about 3. I usually put about 3 coats on my guides and my rods. On my epoxy work, it's usually a minimum of 3 coats. I've never gotten by without putting 3 coats on it at least. At least. That's the least amount. Sometimes it takes 4. Sometimes it takes 5. Depending on what's going on. There's a lot of different factors when you're doing rod building and you're putting epoxy on. How good the thread is, how tight it's packed. But your very first coat sets your foundation, really, of where you're going to be going from there. If you know what I mean. Check me out here on the edge. I'm right here on the end of it. I'm right on the end now. Down here where it gets fragile. Where it gets Italian. These ones down here, I don't want to put a big thick coat on these anyway. I want the least amount of epoxy on these last couple of guides as I could possibly have. I don't want no weight down here. I don't want nothing to change the sensitivity of the rod. It's already a pretty heavy rod. I think it's a medium. It's not a full action medium because it has been broke down. I got this rod shipped to me broken, so I cut it in half and made it like a, I think it's 4 foot, y'all. And it looks like a kiddie rod, but it's not. It's got a full-size reel seat on it and everything. It's what some refer to as a dock demon. Dock demon. Hope I'm in the view. I'm way out here, ain't I? Y'all ain't even near me out here. Just trying to keep y'all in the picture. I'm going to make this room a little bigger. My room's small right now from my rod building. This is enough to work on one rod over here. And I got a rack up here holding all my other rods that are waiting, drying, or doing something like that. But y'all know what they say about big things. They start in little rooms. Anybody watched the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction last night? A couple of awesome people made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Outkast, Salt and Pepper. Quite a few people. Put my little dabs in between my guides and where it touches the blank. I always make sure I fill in those spots because it's very vulnerable right there. The more epoxy you put on it, the better. But you don't want to change the action like I'm talking about. You don't want to change the action on it, you know what I mean? That's what you don't want to do. I save all the money I can when I'm rod building, everybody. All my little cups come from the Dollar General store. That's where I get my little cups from that I'm using. That's where I get the little cups that I'm using. That's where I get all my sticks, all my stuff, all my popsicle sticks for other things. I use popsicle sticks. I use all kinds of things out here. Pull this up. Oh, try and move that thing a little bit again. Here, where y'all can see the good stuff. I'll try to keep that in the middle. Trying not to mess it up. We'll get it back spinning. Stick something right here real quick. I grab the hole in it a little bit with my stick. You gotta keep it clean. Gotta keep that rod clean. Can't have a dirty rod. Dirty fishing rod. Like I was saying on this rod right here, it's like what you would call a dock demon. I know that noise is quite loud. I'll turn it down a little bit. It's like a dock demon. It's like a little miniature 4 foot rod. It's not a huge, it's not a real long rod. You can see right here, it has a full size reel seat on it. It's got nice custom grips on it. It's a little, I call it like a spring-loaded little bitty wrap right here. Not a bad rod. This rod was actually for a person that's on a Facebook Live. I do a lot of Facebook Lives. And there was somebody on there that actually won this rod. It's got a nice... Like I say, it's only about 4 foot long. This is the end of the rod right here. So it looks like a kiddie rod, but it's actually not a kiddie rod. It's actually, it holds a full reel seat and all that and everything. I got a rod dryer up here that I spin my rods on. I also got another rod I'm about to show y'all. That is a rod that I just got done doing a marbling job on today, and it's actually a pretty sweet rod. I can show y'all a few of them. I can show y'all a few of them off right now. This rod right here is called the Patriot. It's not bad. This one has some real sweet stuff on it right here. It's like it's the American themed Patriot. It has a spot left right here. It's going to have a decal on it right here. It's going out to a Marine. You know what I mean? It's got the red, white, and blue wrap on it. It's going to be a trout rod. This is a medium. This ain't a medium light. It's a light rod. But you can see it's just ready to go. All I got to do is put some coats of epoxy on it. That's what I'm going to be doing all night tonight. Probably a couple more hours. I'm not going to be on here for a couple hours. I'm just going to be on here for a little while. But I got a coat of epoxy on this rod right now going. And I'm going to put one on this one, and I'm going to put one on that one. I got quite a few rods going right now. I got more rods going than I probably should have. You know what I mean? On a rod. Awesome, awesome. Thank you. It is cool. These rods, custom rod building is cool. That's the thing about it, is they're all unique. They're all a little something different. You know what I mean? They're not all the same. They're not all the same stuff all the time. This one's a pretty snazzy one too. This is another rod build we got going. It's got the lime green on it. It's got a marble job as well on it. You see that marble job right there is pretty sweet on this one. It's also got what's called a chevron wrap. I don't know if y'all are familiar with what a chevron wrap is. When you do nice thread work. Turns out pretty good when you do it. Turns out pretty good. This is a nice lime green. This one right here is a 7 foot. I think it's 7 foot. I don't think it's 7'6". It's a 7 foot medium moderate. So it's good for bass fishing. It's good for it's really good for about whatever kind of fishing you want to get. If you wanted to buy a rod that you wanted to just be able to fish for whatever, you know, you can still fish for some small panfish with this rod, but you know, the bite wouldn't be as sensitive, but you could get by with it. All the way up to some nice bass fishing and trout and salmon and whatever you might be desiring, you know. I think it holds up to like a 10, 12 pound line. So it's a real nice rod. And the real awesome thing about this rod right here is that this rod you're looking at, this green one, glows in the dark. That's pretty cool, if you ask me. And if y'all want, I can show you. I'm gonna have to do something with this other rod to do that. I got it spinning right now. But we can take this rod and I can put the glow in the dark on it. All the epoxy work on it. Not the guides, but all the epoxy work and everything on it is glow in the dark. Which is pretty awesome, if you ask me. Which we'll get into that here in a minute. I'll be able to get that glow in the dark going a little better. So you can see it. Let's make sure I put that in the right spot. I'm not gonna be on here. I'm not gonna be on here a real long time. I've been on here about 30 minutes. I'll probably be on here about an hour tonight. I'm gonna try to start going. I'm gonna try going live on YouTube a little more. I do it all the time on Facebook and a couple, you know, and I do it twice a week on Facebook, and I get it's quite a big crowd on there. We have a pretty good time. I do a lot of things. I also do rod builds on my page, and I donate rod builds to awesome followers and supporters. So if you're checking out this live and you're not a follower or nothing like that, make sure you're live. If you're on Facebook over there, go check me out on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm not really as active on TikTok and then stuff as I am, but I'm gonna start doing a lot more here on the YouTube. You know what I mean? Showing y'all a few things. I'll turn these lights down low. I can show y'all this rod glowing in the dark. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. The epoxy resin is a UV glow in the dark. I'm going to turn down the lights just a little bit. I'll show y'all. This rod right here is this rod's actually a rod that I'm building for my subscribers. And the epoxy on it glows in the dark. So y'all give me just a minute here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's actually pretty nice. I do all the epoxy, everything on the rod. When I get these rods, they're just a solid little blank. There ain't nothing to them. I build them completely up. I put the guides on them. I do the whole full rod builds on them. Let's see if we can make this thing glow in the dark for y'all real quick while I got you on here. See if we can see that thing. There you go. I got it on one side there. That's the full part up front. The handle. This is down at the handle. I got it like a tiger spiral. I didn't get a whole lot of UV light on it, y'all, to get it. I haven't got it illuminated real good right now. But that's the butt. Like I said, this is the front up here. It's not bad. It's not bad for a just a little feature. I mean, you mainly bass fish with this thing probably, so I wouldn't think, you know, you'll be out too late and dark in it. But the glow in the dark does pretty good on this rod. I've done about 3 glow in the dark rods, and these have come out really well. The epoxy resin that I use is a real bright epoxy. So to be honest, if you put it in real good UV light, that thing will get bright and stay bright. Might want to watch your eyes. It's about to get bright for a minute. That's the second. That's maybe the second or third rod I've done that's actually a glow in the dark rod. I've done a couple of other ones. But that one glows probably that one probably glows the nicest right there. I got a marble job going on up here right now. I don't know if I can show you maybe right here. I got it up there. I can't really take it off. I think I can flip y'all around and give y'all an idea of that. That's actually pink. It's a nice pink handle on it. This is my rod rack right here with all them custom rods on it. But it's a pink rod I'm building for somebody. And I just got done doing the epoxy job on it. That epoxy job ain't too bad. See, that's just the blank right there. You can see that. My spinner up there, that's what I spin the rods on. Dry the rods, I should say, on there. Small rod building area right there. That's all my epoxies I got up there. That's what I use to glue handles on with. This is my finishing epoxy that I've been using right now. Y'all just see me put on this rod that we see down here. That's actually spinning right there. All my cups. These things are pretty cool. I don't know if y'all have ever seen those. These are little epoxy tablets I make. Little tabs. When I get done with my epoxy, I should have showed those to y'all too. They glow in the dark as well. Pretty cool. Little tablets I make. That's where I put those. Put those up there. Kind of hold all my other stuff right there. That's my little dryer I got going right there. That's that little 4-footer, the little dock denim is what that is. Just small little low. Small little low dock rock or something you can throw in the back of the truck. No. We got quite a few things going on over here. I'm remodeling this corner. I do some duck hunting too, so I got a little bit of duck stuff down there. That's my Wonder Bread. I got a lot of stuff going on over here. Those are couple of custom rods on there that are being built up right now. Pretty nice rods. Rods in the making. Getting built up. Getting built up and getting ready to ship out. I got about 4 rods I need to ship out. 4 rods I'm building that's going to be getting shipped out pretty soon. It ain't going to be too long before those get shipped out. My dog needs to use the bathroom back there. She's like, dude, you better let me out soon. Okay, we're going to set that right there. I got a rod turning right now. It's drying. I put a coat of epoxy on it. We got us a nice coat of epoxy on it. Oh, goodness. Rod building ain't as hard as it seems. Everybody seems to think rod building's a hard thing. When I got into rod building, I decided that I was gonna. I'd seen a couple of custom rods that were similar to these. It's quite similar to this one. I mean, this is a light. This is a nice panfish rod. It's on a real nice light blank. It's got an awesome marble job on it. This one right here is good for pan fishing. Anything you want to do like that. Now, as far as how big of a fish you want to fish on it, I wouldn't fish much more than about 6-pound test on this thing, and you're gonna have fun fishing catching a 6-pound fish on it. You know what I mean? This is. Woo. I think it's 6 foot. It's a spinning rod. You know what I mean? And it's got his little deep name on it. I put all kinds of different logos, all kinds of whatever you wanted to put on a rod, I put on there. I got into rod building and decided that I was gonna build me a rod like this. I seen rods like this and I said, let me build one of those. And the rods that I looked at were crazy expensive to get built. And I said, let me start building rods myself. You know, I said I'm gonna try to do that on my own. And I bought a kit and started doing it and never looked back. And then I built large cat fishing rods. I've built like that small pan fishing rods. And everything in between. I think I've probably built about 55 rods by now. You know what I mean? And every one of them's got their own distinctive, different color variation. Got their own distinctive, different paint job on them. They all have their own particular. You know, there's no custom rod built the same. Now you can build a production rod over and over and over. Amos, thank you. It is nice. I appreciate that. Amos, what is your personal best bass? My best bass, you know, my best bass is probably about. It's about 5.5 pounds is what it was, close to 5.5 pounds, which to me that's a pretty good sized bass. My goal was to get a 7-pounder this year. This past year, I got me about a 5.5 pounder. It was pretty nice. This right here would slay the fish too, as well. That one's pretty nice. That one right there is a 7-foot spinning rod. That thing's pretty sweet. This is what I use right here. This is my setup. This is the setup that I use. I custom built it myself. It's a 7-foot medium light. I weighed this. I don't know if you're on Facebook. You can look up Big Rods on Facebook. You can see it all on there and everything. I weighed this rod. This rod right here is light. It is super light. I call this lime green. I lime greened it out. Like, you know, they say murdered it out. Well, I just did it all with green, everything. The guides are green. Each one of the guides are nice lime green. All the thread work, the grips are green, the reel seat's green, the reel's green. Everything's green on it. This is one of the lightest rods I've ever had. I fished duckets, I fished duckets and Fenwicks, I fished ugly sticks all the way up to the Bass Pro's Best, and this is one of the lightest rods I've ever fished with. You know what I mean? Do you make lures? No, I don't make lures, but I know a lot of lure makers. I can guarantee you that. I do know a lot of lure makers, man. I don't fish anything but custom lures. All I fish is custom lures. I have a lot of awesome people that support me on Facebook, and I do lives like this on Facebook, except they're a lot different, a lot more frequent, and I have a lot of bait makers, custom bait makers that send me stuff on there and that donate to the lives so I can shoot them out to a lot of my followers and a lot of my supporters on the Facebook platform. You know what I mean? I don't know, talk about that a lot on here. I don't do a lot of YouTube. I do a whole lot of Facebook, but not a whole lot of YouTube. So if y'all are on Facebook, you can check me out on Facebook. There's a whole lot more going on. I'm going to start trying to do a whole lot more over here if I can on YouTube. But I'm just trying to get familiar with the platform and get familiar with everything that goes on over here on YouTube. You know what I mean? Because it's a little more hectic than Facebook to me right now. It's just trying to get followers and trying to build up, because I think right now I'm trying to go live right now. I'm like in a little penalized thing. I can't have but so many people join the live, and they got me all penalized because I'm a small guy on here right now. But I do plan on growing and stuff. But it is worth checking out the Facebook page, because there's a lot of opportunities on a couple of custom rods that I do build on there. And the lives are a lot more livid. This is more of, I'm going to do more of this for, you know, just rod building and showing off rods and some of the rod builds that I've done, and the process of building rods is what I'm going to do more of the YouTube live on. The live on Facebook is more of a fun-filled kind of, just, you know, we get on there and just cut up and we spin wheels and play games and just, we get all out on there. What's your best rod for punching through grass? Man, like a flipping stick, brother. It would be like a flipping stick. I hope I'm not, I'm trying to see your, yeah, brother. I didn't want to call you a brother. A flipping stick, man, a nice heavy action, you know, something that can drag, you know what I mean? Because if you hook onto a 6 or 7 pound bass or something like that, and you get into some thick grass and you got to be able to pull it out of there, you know what I mean? So, I mean, a heavy, you might, I wouldn't trust a medium heavy. You might get into a bind. You might lose the fish of your life on a medium heavy. So I'd probably go heavy. I'd probably go heavy with the rod 7 foot, you know what I mean? I wouldn't go but maybe a moderate tip. You might want to go a fast, just to get a real thickness on it. Get a good thick hard, you know, when you go to snatch that set that hook. But you got to have something braid, you know what I mean? Real nice heavy duty reel with some braid wire string on it, you know what I mean? I do a lot of flipping. I don't do a lot of flipping and pulling, but I pull a lot of big fish out of moss and underwater debris, and that's what I use. Nothing less than a medium heavy. I use monofilament on it. Still use mono. I haven't had any bad. I'm just waiting to have a bad experience with my mono, because I love my mono. But I do have a braid on a couple of them. But I would recommend braid to make sure you don't lose that fish. You know what I mean? I use lures. That's what I used to use. You know, before I started custom building my own rods and stuff like that. I used to use lures, and lures is a good rod. I have no problem with them. I have a medium heavy in the shop in here, out in the boat shop, that I still keep on the boat for a backup, that I use, that I can throw a catfish bait on it. You know what I mean? That's really what it is. It's a catfish rod that's utilized for bass fishing. Is really what a flipping stick is. Really what you're doing if you're pulling through heavy cover above or below the water, and you're trying to rip a big bass out of there, and you want to, you know, you gotta have some power behind it. You know what I mean? I fished the river with this rod mostly. I fished the river that's local to here, and I've never caught anything more than about a 3.5 pounder out of it. So I've never ran into any troubles or issues like that. Not as far as that goes. But this is similar to the rod I just had on there. You can see it better on here. This is the same style rod. This This is another rod I got sent to me and it was broke. So I took the tip of it and I made what's called the dock rocker. And all it is a little, it looks like a kiddie rod, but it has a full-size reel seat on it. The reel seat on it's full size. So you can put a full-size reel seat on it and be able to, you know, you'll be able to take on some pretty good fish with that thing right there. And it fits right there in the back, you know, it's almost like a sword, you know what I mean? Fits right in the back of the truck. You ain't gotta worry about it. That one right there is about finished. I gotta ship that one out. I got a lot of stuff I gotta ship out. I gotta ship. All I do is ship. I appreciate that, Amos, man. I'll give you a sub back, man. I'll give you a sub back. Hey, man, if you're on Facebook, check it out. I don't really like to crisscross two things like YouTube and Facebook, but if you're on Facebook, look up BigSrod's. It'll be worth it, man. Check that out too. I do a lot more on the lives and everything on that. I'm just trying to get used to this Facebook, or not this Facebook, but this YouTube live stuff, man. It's kind of all new to me. You know what I mean? But I do have a lot of bait makers. If you wanted to reach out, man, I got a lot of bait makers I can put you on to. I'm not sure where you're located at. I'm located in South Carolina, but I know bait makers all the way in California, Florida, New York, all the way across the board, man. Wisconsin, Alabama, Arkansas. I know a lot. I got 15 bait makers that have that support me and myself, so I support them as well. Anybody that supports me, I give them support back. You know what I mean? But I'll definitely check you out, man, and give you a follow back. I appreciate that. I'm from Canoe Lake. Is that in Indiana? Canoe Lake, Indiana. Is that where that's at, brother? In Texas. Okay. I can't even read these comments right. I'm trying to keep up with it right. In Texas, man. And I was born in Texas. I was born in Corpus Christi, Texas. I lived there for a little while, then I moved up to Oklahoma, and I spent 15 years in Oklahoma. Now I'm in South Carolina. Don't ask me how the heck I got up here in South Carolina, but I'm here now. You know what I mean? Up here in South Carolina. I do rod building for a hobby. You know what I mean? That's why I said I wanted to build myself a couple of good, nice rods, and then it kind of took off, and now I'm building rods for people and doing stuff like that. I had a guy in Texas when I first started building rods. He has a guide service down there near the Gulf, and he had me build him 6 rods, 3 spinning rods and 3 casting rods. It was the first big order I ever had when I was doing big custom fishing rods and all that, and kind of set me on the map a little bit. He was from Texas down there, did a lot of red fishing and everything. Man, I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to get off here. It's getting late. It's starting to get late. I gotta jump off here, man. Like I said, man, I'll give you a follow back, man. I appreciate you tuning in, checking us out. I'll probably do. I'm gonna get a set pattern, man. I'll know when I'll post more. Kind of figure out when I'm gonna go live. It might be Friday nights. It might be something like that. I go live on Saturday nights and Wednesday nights on Facebook. So if I can figure out a way to do both of these at the same time, then I have it figured out. Like I said, brother, I appreciate you tuning in and checking me out, man. Like I said, I'm gonna try to go back on here. I don't know when I'm gonna come back on. There's no really telling, but if you check me out on Facebook, you can keep up a lot better on this. And I'm going to get a little more on this YouTube and get on it a lot more. How do I fix my rule that makes clicking noises and it gets stiff and real? Man, put some oil in it, man. That's what I would do. If you can't, you'd have to take it apart. And if you don't know how to take a reel apart, you better find somebody. My suggestion is find somebody that can take reels apart and do it. 3-in-1 oil, man. Take it apart till you feel safe enough and oil everything up on it. You know what I mean? I don't know if you're talking about I don't know if you use bait casters. If you use a bait caster or a spinning rod, that's what matters. Is if it's a spinning rod. If it's a bait casting rod, you know what I mean? Get your guide right here. Take your end off right there. Put your some oil down in it. A little bit real good. That'll take care of it. If it's clicking and already acting up on you, whether it's a spinning rod or a casting rod, if it's starting to act up on you and make noises like that, you're probably going to have to take it apart. You know what I mean? Do you know how to catch bass in deep water? Man, my best advice on that is to put a weight on it and slow drop it, drag it across the bottom. Real slow. If it's cold like this in the wintertime right now, you got to be real slow with it. Be real finesse with it. Don't be too speedy with it. Just barely pull it across there like that. Not like you do in the wintertime or in the summertime and do pops. Just do a little drag. Something dark. A worm will work good right now. Nice old worm. There's quite a few different baits you could use right now that would do good in the cold water. But it's all about being slow. You can't be real fast. You can sometimes get lucky, but you got to slow everything down because them bass are slowing down just like we do when it gets cold. They slow down. So if this bait comes flying by their mouth, they're not even going to worry about it. You know what I mean? But if you can tickle their nose with it real slow like and then ease out, they might get that big one to bite. You can catch big ones this time of year too, man. You can catch big ones this time of year. Man, I'm going to have to wrap this up. I'm going to get off this this YouTube live. I've been on here about an hour. Man, I appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate the sub. I'll give you a sub back when I get off here, brother. And, hey, check me out next time. Tune in. I'll be doing some more rod builds. I'll show off a couple more different rods and stuff like that. Try to get this YouTube live thing figured out. I appreciate everybody that joined me tonight. Y'all have yourself a great evening. We'll catch y'all next time I jump on here. Now, if I can just figure out how to turn this off. My man said, see you, man. See you later, man. I appreciate you joining me, Bubba. Appreciate you joining me. I'm thinking I can cut this thing off. I've never done this before, so I don't really know. All right, we'll check y'all next time. I think I got it figured out.